we're following a very important case as it snakes through the various court systems, and we're thinking that it might actually get picked up by the Supreme Court. Don't feel bad if you haven't heard about this case up until now. The case is actually called Darby Development versus the United States. And in my opinion, this is going to be a landmark case concerning landlords' constitutional right to compensation for the COVID-19 eviction moratorium. Remember, the CDC implemented an eviction moratorium during COVID to prevent evictions for non-payment of rent during the pandemic. And the core of the case revolves around whether the eviction moratorium constituted a Fifth Amendment taking of private property for which just compensation is owed to property owners. So the case, if you haven't been following it, was filed back in 2021 by 38 original plaintiffs. And the plaintiffs were everything from like mom and pop, small multifamily owners, all the way up to corporate multifamily owners. And basically, their argument was, hey, when the eviction moratorium was levied during the pandemic by the CDC, that is a government taking, a taking of private property that results in the government's obligation to give you just compensation. You'll remember that basically there were billions and billions of dollars that were lost to property owners during this eviction moratorium. In fact, by the end of 2020, more than 10 million delinquent residents owed $57 billion in back rent, with another $17 billion accruing since then, according to the lawsuit that's being brought by the Darby plaintiffs and the other plaintiffs. Well, recently, a federal claims court basically approved the plaintiff's ability to move the case forward. And so the question now is whether the Supreme Court would take that up. And what will the Supreme Court do? Will they side with the original plaintiffs in that believing that the government's eviction moratorium that resulted in the ability of tenants at multifamily properties across the United States to save basically rent free, whether the landlords are entitled to just compensation, or side with the government, basically, that is arguing that that it wasn't a taking because it wasn't something that was actually passed by Congress. So you need to stay tuned, but this is a very important case. And if you're a multifamily operator out there, owner operator out there, you should be looking at this case. Because if, in fact, the Supreme Court upholds the ability of landlords to sue the government for lost rents, then you should be consulting independent legal advice to figure out how to get access to lost rents if, in fact, you did lose rents as a result of the eviction moratorium. For hot takes more like this, please check us out, subscribe, and like us wherever you can. And for those of you that love multifamily and commercial real property like we love multifamily and commercial real property, happy hunting.